Shalom, family, shalom. Alright, here we go. It's your brother Isaiah coming back with another video. Just want to begin this video by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Yahweh, all praises due. We are continuing the series of the end of wicked affliction. This is part 3. I'm going to try to relay this message, y'all, it's the best I can, because there's not too much to go over. I'm basically just going to be telling y'all about the next 2 captivities. The scriptures really don't emphasize these captivities like that. Well, the next one I'm about to talk about really doesn't emphasize it too much. There is a passage that goes into the next captivity I'm about to talk about, which is the Greek captivity, which we went into about 332 BC. And yeah, the scriptures don't really talk about it too much. You can look up the history online, but if it ain't coming from the scriptures, man, I mean, it's kind of hard to trust, you know what I'm saying? So if it's not, backed by the scriptures, I definitely don't want to relay like a whole history lesson on it. So let's just go to the passage about, the Greeks rising to power over the Persians. This is First Maccabees. This is in the Apocrypha. First Maccabees chapter 1, starting at verse 1. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So, you know about Alexander the Great. We learned about him in history class in school, who was the faggot. He didn't have no air behind him, because he was a faggot. This is the guy who, asserted his dominance at this time, Let's go to verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries, and nations, and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death they all put crown upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So, let's go down to verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So we were still going off, at this time. It was pretty much the same shit we were doing. This is why we kept going into captivity, because we would not hearken unto Yahweh and what he had for us. This Greek captivity that we were in, I believe we were in the land of Macedonia, in this Greek captivity. Yeah, man. Like I said, the scriptures really don't emphasize this too much. I am gonna hit this in Daniel. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7. And in the first 2 parts, I went over, the first beast and the second beast. The first beast is the Babylonian captivity we were in, or the Babylonian Empire. The second beast is the Persian and Medes Empire. The third beast is the Greek Empire. After Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. So this is what Daniel saw in his vision. The Greeks rising. So what else did I want to show you guys? Let's go to First Maccabees, still staying in the Apocrypha, chapter 8. And like I said, I'm just hitting on basically everything the scriptures say about the Grecians, because doesn't say too much about them. Doesn't say too much about the Grecians. So like I said, if it's not coming from the scriptures, I didn't want to give y'all like a full-on history lesson or anything like that, because we know, the history that they give us is pretty much tainted. If it's not coming from this word, it's tainted. That's period. This word is valid. It holds true to this day. That's why I didn't want to give y'all a history lesson on all the Greek captivity, because there were a lot of articles that popped up, when I was doing my research. But if it's not coming from the scriptures, I'm not gonna do that to y'all. First Maccabees chapter 8 verse 9. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, and carried away captives their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day. So that's what they did to us, man. They, took our wives away and our children, and just did all manner of wickedness against us. Why? Because we kept going off. We never wanted to hearken unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why it took us so long to get to this point where we are about to go into rulership. And I'm going to get into that more in the next part, because that'll be, the last captivity I go over, which we are in today. The scriptures say America is modern day Egypt. So, yeah. Those are the two scriptures that. Oh no, let's go down to First Maccabees 8:18, and to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude. So, right there, plain as day, we were in captivity to the Grecians. I'm not sure how long we were in captivity to them. Not sure how long, but when Alexander, the faggot, rose to power, he basically took over the world, man. It's complete world domination by him. He had a great army. So once he died, the kingdom kind of fell a little bit, but I believe they were still able to hold their dominance. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think the scriptures emphasize that. Yeah, I believe that's right. And I want to hit this too, man. This has been on my spirit, too, and this is going to come up in a later message that I'm going to do. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. Verse 10. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. This is very important, man. This scripture, helped me out a lot, man. Because I feel like when I'm relaying these messages to y'all, especially about these captivities, man, I know there's a lot of history behind it. And like I said, I want to come from the scriptures. But it clearly says, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. So if I'm saying anything incorrectly or anything like that, y'all feel free to correct me, man. please feel free to correct me. I I have no problem getting corrected. Because I'm still young. You know what I'm saying? I'm only 20 years old, man, and I just wanted to go through each and every captivity for y'all so y'all could have more clarity on it about, history that we've been through and what we've been through as a people. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that scripture out, man. In like verse 10, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. So when I'm relaying these messages and I'm relaying them to what I know now. If the Most High shows me something later and gives me a complete understanding on it, I will go back to whatever, I may have said now and correct it, The scriptures clearly said we know in part and we prophesy in part. I just wanted to hit that part home because as I'm going over our history, man, I know I might be missing, the meat of some things, but hey, I know what I know now, and I'm prophesying what I know through the scriptures. So just wanted to get that cleared up. But I will go over that scripture in a later message, probably this weekend. Let's go. Let me see if I need to hit this one too. Let's go back to Daniel 8. Okay, and let's see. Daniel chapter 8, verse 21. The Most High reveals to Daniel what he saw in his vision. Let's get back to it. Yeah. And he said, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. So, the Most High, was speaking to Daniel and telling him, what he saw in his vision. It's like Most High's, his ways are above ours, man. Like, he literally showed him like this monster type shit, man, and it was just talking about a kingdom that was going to rise to power. It's just, man, Most High, he bad, man. So that's pretty much it for the Grecians. Like I said, the scriptures do not go into too much detail on the Grecians. Definitely didn't want to give y'all a history lesson outside of the scriptures. I want to come straight from the scriptures. So the next captivity we went into, the Romans. And what did Brother Matthias say all the time? We were ran out of Jerusalem in 70 AD by the Romans, by the Roman general Titus, son of Vespasian. That's what happened. That's how they rose to power. And I believe at this time, they still had, even before 70 AD, when Yahushua was around, they still had power on the earth, but it wasn't to the full extent when they completely overtook Jerusalem. In that captivity, we were still able, to worship, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and Yahushua and things like that, as long as we did what the Romans said, pretty much. As long as we didn't draw that line. And it basically just like America today. They don't care, don't give a fuck who you worship. As long as you pay your taxes, pay your registration, pay rent, get a job, earn some money, and keep this society flowing. They don't give a fuck what you do, They don't give a fuck what you do. Same with the Romans. With the Romans, I'm just going to go into some precepts on Yahushua prophesying the Romans overthrowing Jerusalem, like completely running siege on it. Why were they run siege on Jerusalem? because we didn't all accept Yahushua. Plain and simple. That pissed off the Father greatly, because he set up Yahushua to bring the northern kingdom back into the fold. I want to get this precept because this is important. This is Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 8. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel, that's talking about the northern kingdom, Israel and Judah. Israel is the northern kingdom. Judah is referred to as the southern kingdom. Verse 8. And I saw, Jeremiah 3 and 8. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and had given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So, Most High completely divorced the northern kingdom, man. That was the whole purpose of Yahushua. He had to come back. Number one, he went off as King Solomon. That was number one. He went off. He caused the kingdom to split. Because David had set it up for him beautifully. He had set it up for him beautifully. He never had to fight. That was the only time in the earth. Only time when the Israelites were in rulership and there was peace on the earth, and it lasted about 40 years. But going back to 1 Kings 11, where we understand Solomon went off and worshipped, the other, gods of, all these women he was with, and the Most High warned him that he would turn his heart away, but he didn't pay for it then. He paid for it as Yahushua. So his whole purpose was to bring them back into the fold. The Most High never divorced the southern kingdom. Never divorced them. He just put a foot in their ass for going off. But he completely did away with the northern kingdom. That's how mad he got. Because they went off into idolatry heavily. One thing, if you know about these Mexican restaurants, man, they always got like some type of sun or like a thing of like decoration around the restaurant, man. It's because they were worshiping the sun and shit like that. That goes back to Egypt. And that's the shit I was into before I came into this truth. I believe I explained that in the video about how I came into this truth, Salak. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that point out though. Let's go hit the precepts of Yahushua prophesying the Romans completely besieging Jerusalem and overtaking it. Let's go to Luke, book of Luke, chapter 21. We're going to go to verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, this is what Yahushua is saying, it's red letter, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That last part is vital. We are in that time now, where the time of the Gentiles is pretty much over. Pretty much over, and I'm going to get more into this in the next part, but, that last precept, man, Yahushua, plain as day, man, this place is going to get fucking ransacked. Y'all going to be led away captive, y'all going to be sold off, it's going to be bad for y'all. This is what Yahushua prophesied when he was here, Let's hit another precept. Let's go to Let's stay in the book of Luke, chapter 19, 41. And we're going to, let's see. Yeah, 41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even though, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. So, another, him emphasizing again that these Romans were going to come in and do whatever they want, man. Set up by Yahweh Shem Shai, because he was infuriated with us for rejecting the Son. Not everybody accepted Yahushua. If you're in this law, liberty, truth, and you're getting this now, you are the one that accepted Yahushua. And if you didn't, you're not. You're a Pharisee, a Christian, or you're just plain out wicked. You don't want anything to do with this word as an Israelite. So, That was the Most High's fury against us, man. That was the last straw. And that was the last straw. For us rejecting the Son, that was it. He was really pissed about that. This is why I'm going to go into more detail about this, but this is why this has been the longest captivity for us as a people in America. It's been the longest one. The longest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this has been the longest one. And definitely the worst. Definitely the worst. Because at least we know who we were in this one. We didn't know who we had to be woken up. Some of us just woke up to this truth of being an Israelite and this law liberty doctrine just last year. We had to be woken up in this lifetime. Also, Yahushua prophesied of us being put to sleep. This, the Father even said this back then to Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in thy anger which shall burn forever. Gone into this before, Yahushua supersedes forever. That, the Father's anger was kindled against us. Once Yahushua came, boom, reset. Let's start this over again. They're going to get it right this time. I'm going to send you, Yahushua, and, we're going to start this over. We're going to bring them back into the fold through you. I cannot deal with them personally anymore. They just won't fucking listen. They won't listen. I have to deal with them through you. So, kind of going off subject there a little bit, but I'm just moving with the Spirit, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm just moving with the Spirit. Let's see if there's one more precept. Yeah, let's get this. It's John chapter 11, verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. Plain as day, man. Right there in the scriptures. Prophecy of the Romans overtaking us in 70 AD. Ransacked out of Jerusalem. Just like that, man. I am going to go to detail about our next captivity, which we already know we're outliving it. It's the American captivity, but I'm going to go into that more. I'm going to give a full breakdown in the next part. You guys will probably see that Monday. I do have another lesson for tomorrow that I want to bring out. That was on my spirit. So, yeah, man. Lord willing, you guys were edified. Like I said, so already talked about. Let me make sure that's right. That was 6. We've talked about 6 captivities so far. You know, let's run through them again. Went through the Egyptian captivity. That's number 1. Then the Assyrian captivity. That's number 2. Number 3, the Babylonian captivity. Number 4, the Persian captivity. Number 5, the Greek captivity. Number 6, the Roman captivity. And the last, but surely not fucking least, this goddamn American captivity. Like I said, I'm going to go more into detail on this American captivity. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about this captivity, man, because we're still out living it. We're still living it. We're still living it. We haven't been released yet. There hasn't been a full end date, but I believe that's coming this year. I believe it's coming this year, but like I said, I will go into more detail on the American captivity. There's a lot to discuss about the American captivity, man. Lot to discuss. So, also, I wanted to bring this point out. If you guys do read the book of Acts, it does go into the Romans and what they were doing to us, you know, when Yahushua was around and stuff like that. I just didn't find it too necessary to go into like detail. Like I said, all these nations that Yahushua rose up against us, man, they just put a foot in our ass. Plain and simple. They put a foot in our ass for going off. That's pretty much all they did. Enslaved us, treated us like shit. They did the same fucking thing. This captivity we're living now is no different. No different. They basically just did the same thing over and over and over and over again. So yeah, just wanted to bring that point out. Lord willing, you guys were edified. Just want to end this video by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushua. All praises due. See you on the next video. Shalom.